Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. This is your favorite morning show, The Morning Glow, and I want to say good morning. Got a couple of my brothers here with me this morning. We're gonna kick this thing off. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. How are you?
Hey,
And
doing well.
Morning Glow family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we have with us as well. We have all the way down there from Upper Lopez, either the Wellington,
Oh my God, you're just
like
blowing it.
coasters. Mississippi, Alabama, Mississippi and
You
Alabama.
gonna get
Donna Tucson,
you gonna get somebody lost.
Mr. Donna Toussaint. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning, sir?
Man, it's all good. Ain't nothing good but the neighborhood.
Did I say that
Not
name?
in the neighborhood, but the
There
no,
you.
you said it all wrong.
Hey, look at
They never find it.
they'll never find it. Well, you see, sometimes
They'll
Toussaint, you don't want to be found though. Sometimes you just don't want to be found. So that could be a good thing. Sometimes you just don't want to be found. But listen, I had something, man, and I want to. We got a topic we're gonna talk about today, but I had something that's been on my heart for a long time, man. For the last couple of days, I say a long time, for the last couple of days, and I've been asking myself, and I don't know if everybody else asks themselves the same question, but I've been asking myself this question, gentlemen. What? And y'all pause like, what is the question, Raheem? Well, I'm going to tell you. What what difference do we make? And are we having and this is like on a personal level and in general as well. But Leonard, do we make an impact on people's lives? Everyday people that we come in contact with, people that we talk to, do we make an impact on their lives? And what impact do we care to make? Leonard? Oh Lord, we had lost Leonard for a second. Okay, there you go. He's back now. I was like, I'm
Oh,
just
I
talking.
was just something wrong with this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. For some reason, all of the little graphic and stuff is not popping up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably the platform. But go ahead. What was you
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, what impact are we making on our people's lives? Are we making an impact on their lives at all? And this is on a personal level in our everyday interaction with people. Do we really make an impact?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
People come back and tell you all the time. So people tell me things I've told them years ago. I didn't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something I was doing intentionally. But now, when I'm doing my ministry and service,
Mm-hmm.
then it's definitely there
Mm-hmm.
because that's the whole goal of ministry.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So everybody makes an impact on somebody. Now, impacts ain't always positive.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
So it just depends on the person. Some people can say, "Well, you really hurt my feelings," and blah 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 blah, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe never tell you nothing about it until after
Mm-hmm.
the fact. You never know.
Mm. And so basically you have to walk and you have to live with that with not knowing until they come up to you and make it conscious to you.
Well, no, sometimes you're being. I'm sure there's times when are intentional.
Mm.
I mean, it just depends on what context you're putting it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some people's job to be impactful every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they do. It's having an impact. Like, say,
Mm.
for instance, my man Tucson is in leadership,
Mm.
management.
Yes.
He has to make an impact on his employees every day.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they get the work done.
Exactly. That's good.
Make sure
That's
the work is right.
mm-hmm.
Make sure people following guidelines, all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
having an impact on people is on different levels. If you're talking about a personal impact, professional impact, you never know what type of impact. It can
Mm-hmm.
be a completely sinful impact,
Wow. Wow.
but it's an impact.
And that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Tucson, what do you say to that, Tucson? Are we making an impact on people's lives?
every day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. You make an impact, whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you interact with somebody, that's an impact. Anytime. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you do. And then it travels. Your impact travels. Let me throw this out here just because I thought about it, and I'll let y'all go ahead. Uh, one can put 1,000 to flight, and two can put 10,000. How
Mm-hmm.
that add up? You ever tried to add that up?
No.
All you gotta do is say something. See, you know somebody, and somebody that knows you knows somebody, and then they got friends, and they got cousins and kinfolks and acquaintances, and they pass it on, and it goes and it travels and it travels and it travels just by what you say. Your point, you personally. Now, if you get with somebody that travels in two different directions and spreads to all of both of y'all acquaintances, and what y'all do makes an impact on folks' lives, whether
Mm.
it's good or bad.
And so
You
is it
know, that's why you got that unruly evil in your mouth.
mm, mm, wow. And that's the thing. You say something to somebody, and be it positive or negative, you say it to somebody, and like Donald said, then they repeat it to somebody, then they repeat it to somebody, and before you know it, it's a snowball rolling downhill, and it's based and it's strictly based on whether it's a positive or negative thing. The impact that snowball has. Would you agree with that?
Well, I I don't know if I use snowball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be an impact. But
Yeah.
one thing about the snowball reference is the snowball just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what we mean by having an
Yeah.
impact. But by
Exactly.
but by nature, the it getting bigger is because it's
Mm-hmm.
rolling downhill.
Mm-hmm.
So impact is, like I say, English is so strange. Impact, it almost has two meanings. It can be positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times we may say that impact is like a car accident, something that collides.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Impact is how you impact. You can impact the environment a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
or impact could simply be how you made someone feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, and it's always good or bad. And
The majority of the people, Leonard, and I know this is a wide open question, but do a lot of people really care what impact they make on somebody else's life?
yes,
Okay, good, good, good.
yes. If they're expecting some type of output from them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If they're expecting some type of an effect, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because the effect is what's after the impact,
Mm-hmm.
consequence of the impact.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I think, like say for instance, a football coach
Mm-hmm.
impacting young men playing football.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys, usually when they have success, or even any athlete, always speaks highly of their coach usually,
Mm-hmm.
and the coaches that they've had along the way. I mean, guys that play professional now will go back and say they thank for their high school and Pop
Yes.
Warner coaches, and
Mm-hmm.
because whatever those coaches may have said to them, they may have remembered, they may have pressed them to the limit
Mm-hmm.
to make them stronger and things of that nature. And the effect of that is them being a superior athlete
Mm-hmm.
in their field and getting an award, making it to the league, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Now, watch this. To your point, watch this. Donald Tucson, let me ask you a question. You you ran track. You ran track. Track was one of the sports that you played at a high level. You love running track. Now, if you can remember the first year or so when you started running track, one of the coaches that you had, is there anything that you used that coach taught you that helped you as you elevated in track?
Well, they wanted to see how fast I could run the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the ninth grade. I never forget it. We had a dirt track,
Mm-hmm.
So they took the 200-meter men and they gave the first one a baton and they put the other one on the 200 mark uh, on the other side of the track, and we started the race.
Mm-hmm.
I never forget it. And well, I'm not boasting to brag, but I beat both of them.
Come on now. Now hold
I
on.
sure did.
You had y'all starting on opposite sides of the track.
No,
Oh, I thought he said
starting
starting on
out,
opposite sides.
me and one of them started at the starting line.
Uh-huh.
The other one, the other one got at the 200-meter mark.
Okay.
He had a baton in his. The first one had a baton in his hand,
Mm-hmm.
and me and him started. And when he got to the 200 mark, he passed the baton to the other fella. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
had to know that he passed me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna come get me. He wasn't gonna come get me from behind.
That wasn't gonna happen.
So you weren't gonna let him walk you down. He wasn't gonna walk you down.
No. Oh no, no, no. So so I don't know why you brought that up. That just made well, I wish I could do these things again. But we
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Yeah.
So what's your point? I don't know.
It's just Leonard was talking about the impact that a person could have on you, and he referenced a football coach.
Oh, my coach.
Yeah, and he said a
Okay, my
football coach
coach.
that went up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and the impact that they
I
could
had,
have on your life.
because just by that little incident, the little episode there, it let me know that I had the potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to play football, and I was pretty good at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But the coach grabbed me. The coach grabbed me by the collar. Caucasian coach
Mm-hmm.
grabbed me by the collar. Hem me up. Call himself hemming me up. I said, "Oh man, my daddy don't do me like that."
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
said, "I don't. I don't. Football is not for me."
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty good. If I could touch the ball, I was gonna catch it.
Okay.
I
You.
said, throw it out there. I'll go get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like to get grabbed by the collar
Yeah.
because my daddy didn't do me like that.
Exactly.
So I ran. I went to running track. That was what he did. The first coach, the football coach, what he did altered my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ran me
Wow.
to the track field,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a free ride to college
Mm-hmm.
just by that.
And he didn't know. He didn't know exactly what he was doing to and for you.
No, mm-mm,
Wow.
no. You can go to the high school right now. My name's still there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Go to the college. It's still there. Go to the college. You'll see it.
See, look here.
I ain't
See.
talking trash.
Hey, Leonard. See, we didn't know who was in our midst, did we?
I believe him because I hear him talk about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear him talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And see, and that's the thing right there. Now, let's go back. A teacher, because I tell my wife all the time, and Leonard, you was in education as well, so you know the impact that especially a first, second, or third grade teacher could have on a young child. Leonard, and people don't realize that these teachers, the first, second, and third grade teachers, what they pour into them children carry throughout the whole education career, be it positive or negative. Because I've seen some people, man, the teacher said some bad things to them, and they never in first, second, or third grade, and they never shook it. But I've seen some things where the teacher came to them and just kept reinforcing them, and pouring positive into them, and man, look, they just blossomed. You know how impactful can a first, second, or third grade teacher be in a young child's life?
It's very impactful because usually that's one of the first people that really demands something of them other than their
Mhm.
parents.
Yeah.
And that's a big developmental stage.
Yes, sir.
So you're already dealing with children. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're in that developmental stage. This is like really first time they out there with freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember my second grade teacher. I know I don't like little white ladies in trailers.
Wait a minute, little. Wait a minute, brother. Where did we just go? We just took a turn, brother. What just happened?
Well, that's what I remember about my second. No, excuse me, that was my first grade teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and we was in trailers at the time because someone had tried to burn our school down.
Mm.
So we were in trailers, and they tried to burn our school down twice, actually.
Good Lord.
And the little lady washed my mouth out with soap.
Mm.
I probably cussed her.
Probably.
Probably, Miss
Okay.
Peters.
Look, we're not sure about it. We're not sure.
Yeah,
We can't confirm nor
I
deny.
can't remember what I said,
Mm-hmm.
but I know what soap tastes like
To this day.
because she gave me that bar of soap and made me wash my mouth out with that bar of soap, standing next to that sink in the back of that trailer.
Donald, Donald Toussaint, and their birth Leonard, huh? And right there now, and their birth Leonard.
Needless to say, I really did like my teachers. I remember all of my teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and they were very impactful. And that's when I remembered that one lady's, my second grade teacher, and I realized that women's names could change a lot.
Mm-hmm. A lot. How many times she get married? Good Lord.
You know, she went through about 3 or 4. I don't know.
Your name is different again.
I think we started off calling her one thing, and by the end of the year, we was calling her. She had another name.
Mm. Mm. And see, now, Tucson, I'm gonna tell you something. Miss Copeland was my first grade teacher, and that's how I remember. Miss Copeland was my first grade teacher, and man, look here, I used to like Miss. I had a little crush on Miss Copeland, man. Miss Copeland was pretty, and I had a cut. I'm in the first grade. I had a crush on her, and I tell everybody that was my girlfriend. What name me do, Miss Copeland? Well, they used to hit the little erase together and do all that stuff, man. Clean the board and all that stuff. I used to want to do that every day. I get mad, Miss Copeland, let somebody else do it for her. But see, and Miss Copeland had a positive impact on me. Now, Leonard, I'm sorry, Donald, first, second, or third grade, was there ever a teacher at that age for you that may had an impact?
Wasn't a crush because she used to hit you on the knuckle, make you ball your fist, and hit you on the knuckle with the ruler. Her name was Miss Camouche. I'm from the country now, up in Lucy's.
Okay, her
Her name
name.
was Miss Camouche,
Good Lord.
and and she had a mustache.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
Look, I'm trying to figure out what
But
Tucson.
she had impact. Know how to behave in class.
Mm-hmm.
There was another teacher, Mr. Mr. I can't call it Mr. Yes, I will. Mr. Jerry. Never forget Mr. Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jerry was shell shocked.
Mm. Lord. You drop a book on the
and,
ground, make that loud noise. He going through it, huh?
and he went. We had kids, just like now. They got kids do all kinds of things. So they drop a book on the floor, and he say, "Hit the deck."
Yeah.
Boy, y'all cruel.
Diamond,
Y'all was some cruel in there. Boy, y'all, look at, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, but y'all was some cruel individuals, bro.
I had issues playing with others, is what all I need to say.
Exactly. Let's go to Sadaria. Sadaria, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Hey, good
morning.
morning. Got a phone, someone on the phone. I'm going to go to the phone call as well. Hold on for 1 second. We definitely going to come to you too. But we're talking about, Sadaria, this is not our topic, but we're talking about impact and the impact that we have on other individuals, on other people. Uh,
Uh
do
huh.
do do we have an impact on people, be it positive or negative?
Sure, we do. It starts with little people that we bring in the world
Mm-hmm.
as we become adults. Um, and we can even have impact on people as children if we're bullies or if we're mean or if
Mm-hmm.
we're really, really kind. So, and because God is a relational God, I believe we were created to have impact on
Mm-hmm.
one another, just as God had an impact in our creation, and we
Mm-hmm.
have His attributes. So,
Mm-hmm.
most definitely, we all have an impact, whether it be positive or negative.
Let me ask you this question. Then we're gonna go to our phone caller. Um, first, second, or third grade. First, second, or third grade. Very impactful moment in a person's life. Was there a teacher that you had first, second, or third grade that made an everlasting impact on your life? If so, how?
The first teacher that I vividly remember that had a very positive impact on my life was actually my fourth grade teacher. Her
Mm-hmm.
name was Miss Johnson, and the thing that I remembered about her was her poise, her grace, her beauty. She had beautiful hair. You know, she was very elegant, but
Mm-hmm.
and that made an impact on me because I aspired to grow up and be that beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily her, but have that grace and poise and character. But what
Mm-hmm.
she did the most that changed my life was I had a speech impediment,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the first teacher that went beyond because my mother couldn't afford the speech therapy classes. She somehow got me into the speech therapy classes,
Mm.
and which changed my whole life because my name began with an S and I couldn't pronounce S's. So when
Mm-hmm.
I would tell people my name, I couldn't say it the way that it sounded. And so the kids would make fun of me. The teachers, people would say, but your name begins with an S, like Snidely. But
Yeah.
because of my speech impediment, I couldn't say my own name. So she
Wow.
put me in she got me in speech therapy, which of course, as you can see, changed my whole life
Absolutely.
because it made me very conscious of being uh, oratorical in my speaking.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I think we have Toya with the T. Toya with the T. Good morning. How you doing this morning, young lady?
Good morning, good morning. Hello, kings and queens. What's
Hey,
going on?
hey. What? Now let me ask you. Are you back in Atlanta, or you still over there and living a vida loco?
No, I came back. I'm going back to live La Vida Loca at the end of the month. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm back in Atlanta.
okay. Good deal. Good deal. Now we're talking about impact. Now this is not our topic for today, but we're talking about impact and whether or not we can have an impact on people's lives, be it positive or negative. Can we have impact on people's
Right.
lives, Toya? What do you say to that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When we don't even know it.
Mm.
Even the very spirit of who you are. You know what I'm saying? That energy is
Mm-hmm.
also influential too, but absolutely, whether it's good or bad, whether you're paying attention to, whether you're not, whether you know or you don't know, you absolutely have influence over any and everybody. And I think that if we look at our stars and our people in positions of power,
Mm-hmm.
that's what that is. It's influence.
Yeah.
They're not making nobody do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's their influence, and they tap in to the ultimate energy, which is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they use that energy to influence others in whatever categories they're in, or to influence them to do whatever it is we need in whatever position they're in. So absolutely, influence is huge, and I think some of it notice it more than others.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And let me ask you this question here. We also asking about first, second, or third grade teachers. Was there one Toya that had an impact on your life?
Um, well, for me, my first teacher was my dad,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he kind of set the pace for everything. And uh, I think my teachers just kind of kept it up. I had one teacher who was a male teacher who kind of discouraged me. But then at the end of the day, like I said, my dad was such an awesome teacher. He even explained to me, look, teachers are humans too, honey. Don't be, you can't listen to everything. When they teach you about math and science, yeah. But when they go to telling you about what you can do, what you can't do,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think ultimately him starting off the pace, letting me know who I was that first set, and then the teachers after that, they helped But when it came to those, like I said, those moments where they tried to tell me, well, you can't do this because you're a girl, that's where the main teacher came on the line and
Yeah.
was like, nah, baby girl, don't listen to that part. Now, he tell you how to do math, you can do that. Don't listen to that part. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very influential.
Exactly. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I was just thinking about it because, I really value education. And I remember my teachers and the impact. And I never was the type of child that you could say anything to break my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad of that. But then it was because I was, um, I was just like a lot of kids in my neighborhood. We were just tough kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we challenged one another to be better all the time. That's all we did. So it was that, and I still have those same friends today. And a matter of fact, it came up this weekend where my best friend told the other couple of guys, had you known him from the beginning, you would have known he hasn't changed a whole lot. I'm a lot more mature, but the same mentality is still there. I still, I love to have fun, laugh, and joke, and things like that, or what have you. Um, People knew I would talk about you, so they kind of leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Big
Would you talk
guys,
bad about him? Leonard,
oh
would you
man,
talk bad about him?
oh man. Big guys knew I'd fight you because I was so smart. Big guys knew I'd fight you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm like two sons. You wasn't gonna catch
Yeah.
me. You wasn't gonna catch me, so
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't worried about that. But yeah, I got plenty. I got more paddlings at school than I ever did at home.
Mm-hmm.
We have very influential teachers. Reason why I don't have issues a lot, which I can separate good white people from bad white people,
Mm-hmm.
because those teachers were excellent.
Mm-hmm.
We even had one teacher took us. She took the boys to her house one weekend, and then she took the girls, and the teachers came. She had a pool and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a sleepover for each class,
Wow.
and she was very nice. I think that's kind of why I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was cute back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, because this
Uh-huh.
teacher looked like Jamie Lee Curtis,
Oh, okay.
and her sister taught at my elementary school. And so we had a very great environment there, right there in my neighborhood. And my best friend's aunt was our principal.
Mm.
So she didn't hesitate to smack you with them rulers and yardsticks.
Exactly. Reach
You
right out.
know, I was
Reach
just
right
told them
out.
about the librarian that used to always tell she was gonna tell my dad, only because my dad was a preacher. I
Mm-hmm.
just found out she was still alive a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, I could just remember her like it was yesterday hollering,
Mm-hmm.
I know ain't no hanky panky going on in the back of the library. Reverend Jones would not approve of that.
Mm. Did it stop you? Did it stop you in your steps?
Man, I was a character. I had a good time.
I'm gonna read something that was shared with me over the weekend, and I actually shared it on my Facebook page. And I want to see what y'all heart is on this right here, and then we'll get into our topic. So let me read this. It's a little lengthy, but I'm gonna read it for you. There was a snake that curled over a sharp saw and was cut. In anger, the snake wrapped the saw with his thick body, and proceeded to squeeze the life out of the saw. With each angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it wasn't going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused it. The snake refused to let go of the saw, eventually died, not knowing the whole time he needed to let go of the initial pain and focused on the future and where it was going. Instead, the snake unfortunately lost its life and didn't even see it coming. Control your anger, forgive those that hurt you, and don't give people or things power over you. It will ultimately kill you. Toya, do you agree with that?
Big, big facts. What they say, period.
Mm-hmm.
is. When I tell you that ain't nothing but the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, because you can't let go. They're like weights, like we talked about the other day, bad ladies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you want to hold on to all this stuff trying to swim across the ocean, but you can't take the gold. You got to let the gold go. Oh, well, I'm on be Paul. Oh, I can't let the gold go, but you steady trying to swim and you holding on to heaviness, man. So true, and not for nothing a confirmation because God told me that Himself. Girl, if you don't let go, you don't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be expected, but it happened when you was 9. If you don't let go and get over it, you're gonna take yourself up out of here.
Come on.
So you better learn how to leave it alone. You understand
Mm.
what I'm saying? And I had to
Mm.
be real with that. I had to be real with that. Not to mention, I read, oh my God, I hate life, I hate life, I hate life over all the things I can. You know, the Lord gave me a chance. Listen, if you let it go and live, or you keep holding on to it and take it to your grave, either way you go, you got a choice and you got an opportunity. What you gonna do? And I had to choose to leave it alone and get everything that God has for me. And I can't go after what He got going on if I'm worried about what the devil done left behind me.
Come
I
on.
can't do it.
Come on. Toussaint, what do you say to that, brother? Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, yeah. It's like a potential in the graveyard. There's
Mm.
a lot of it. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, I wish that more people would learn to let some things go. But they're
Yeah.
killing themselves, just like
Yeah.
the snake. I
Mm-hmm.
saw it. I saw the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, like man relationships that'll kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
The memory of it. I see people destroying their lives. They stay stuck right there where they have been hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't move forward
Yeah.
because they keep grabbing hold to that saw,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and they just bleeding and all cut up and bruised, and they hurt, and but they would just release it. They can move
Mm-hmm.
on with their lives. You know
Mm-hmm.
how many people? That's why they say forgiveness is for you, not the other person.
Yes, sir.
You know how many people uh, would be better off if they would thank God
Mm-hmm. Come on.
that they found out that that person really betrayed them,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and because Sally that you're so mad with took your man,
Mm.
or Billy Bob that took your woman, or you say that, but it was that door being closed in your life so that you can move forward.
Come on.
But no, you got your foot in the door. Get your foot out the door
Mm-hmm.
and let it close.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, you'll be better off.
Yes, sir.
So it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Daria, you talk to me. He's trying to squeeze the life out of that saw. But the more he squeezed that saw, the closer he is to death himself. What do you say to that?
Exactly. Well, my first example of that, of course, is Jesus Christ. In this way, um, His whole purpose was to show us the power in forgiveness and love. So a lot of times we think, okay, we just gotta forgive the person, but then we have to execute love. Initially, after forgiveness, you have to execute love.
Mm-hmm.
You have to not only forgive the person, you have to forgive yourself, and then you have to execute loving yourself in order to then, from that point, love another person. So, because the Bible says that that's one of the things we have to learn to do: love thy neighbor as you learn to love yourself, not love them first and
Mm-hmm.
then love you, because you can't do that, because love is an inside job. So because of Jesus and His example, I learned the powerful impact of forgiveness, because His end result was an eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say eternal, internal. You have to have life, and life more abundantly comes from not carrying the baggage of unforgiveness. Because someone just said, you know, when you're in unforgiveness, that other person can be gone on. A lot of times people hurt us and we don't even tell them what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And we think, and and we're suffering with it, and we think they're suffering along with us. They're not, because they may not have even known that there was an infraction. So the unforgiving part is, what the snake just couldn't forgive, having a little cut that would heal if he just
Mm-hmm.
let go. And that's how a lot of us are. We get a small cut in life, and then we want to hold on to that cut, and we don't let go. And I'm going to take it a little bigger. People may not agree with me. That's what's wrong with the black community. We got a cut in slavery, but we won't let it go, so the cut never heals. I'm going to leave it right there.
Okay. Okay. Leonard, talk to me, brother. Come like Leonard could come with this situation. What do you see?
Man, I seen that when you put it up there, and it was, I really liked it, and it sums up a lot of how I deal with certain people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing how when you tell someone something, you warn them, but
Mm-hmm.
they continue.
Mm-hmm.
I trust me. The longer you try to press me, the worse you're gonna feel. Because I'm not gonna feel it. You're going to feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and it could destroy you. And this has happened to people. And every time they think, okay, sometimes when you're working with certain people, especially, in a pretty open public environment, doing what we do as activists, you meet all types of people,
Yes.
all types of people that may not really be in it for the right reasons, or, what have you. But instead of making things better, those people who have a tendency to be messy.
Mm-hmm.
I let messy people know I pull you to the side real close. I just want to explain something to you. Blah, 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 blah. Now remember I told you this. And
Mm-hmm.
then before you know it, they continue to wind themselves up until they almost at their demise.
Mm-hmm.
Then they feelings hurt. Now you scared of this and scared of that. When I am the one that told you about it.
Mm-hmm. Warned you.
When, yes, when I saw that, man, it was excellent story to
Mm-hmm.
teach people who behave that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I'm the first person to tell you, let it go. Let it
Mm-hmm.
go. I'm going to let you let it go. Imagine if I were to actually pull back and started defending myself. But I'm just going to let you destroy yourself because you're so intent on it and don't even know it. But this is what is going to happen. And there you go. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought about when I seen your picture. When you warn people about, how you've seen the negative attitudes, like with children,
Yes.
for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it is with girls, but girls seem a little bit more aggressive than boys, I think. But young boys, my son,
Mm-hmm.
if what I tell you ain't good enough, what you feel gonna definitely have an impact on you.
Yeah.
So you should take the correction while I'm just talking to you about it. Because I'm not, if you continue to wind yourself like with your picture, if you continue to wind yourself
Come on.
against this saw food,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna do nothing but wind up cutting bloody.
Mm-hmm.
So think, if it's hurting you, if it don't feel right to you, let it go.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, Tucson, at some point in time, this snake wrapping around that saw had to realize that the pain was becoming intense and more intense, and the more anger he had in him, he squeezed harder because he's not going to let that saw win in this fight. Tucson, do we find ourselves in this situation from time to time?
That sounds crazy to even, and I'm not calling crazy. I'm just saying it sounds crazy to ask that question, but it happens every day.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
The continuous pain that people feel. They actually feel it. They see it. They know they're bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you let's see what I can use as an example. Uh, the baby that came out of a relationship, and one of uh the parents moved on.
Mm-hmm.
They they make they grab hold to that pain, and I don't know how to make it fit the picture,
Mm.
but uh they put that pain in that child,
Come on. They pour that right into him. Yeah.
and yeah, and it
Mm-hmm.
not only hurts them, and the person is they moved on, they happy, they going on them, and don't let them see them and their new companions in the mall somewhere.
Mm. You might have a fight.
Oh Lord, yeah,
Yes,
holding
sir.
on, grabbing hold to that saw
Mm.
of deception or whatever it is. All it
Mm-hmm.
was, and here's the bad part about it. All it was a one night stand.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
you just wanted to get your groove on. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it was going to turn out to be a little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so you found out that relationship didn't work, but it hurt so bad that they found somebody that you think that was should have been you.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways I'm looking at this thing. I can't put my words together, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I know
I
exactly
bet
what you
you
mean.
know what I mean.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, Toya, with the T, let me ask you this. With and it says this in that story. With every angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it wasn't going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused it. Now is the saw causing the pain, or is the snake in squeezing and being so relentless in what he's doing causing his own pain?
I think it's a combination of the two. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? If the store didn't have them jagged edges, it wouldn't hurt. However, if you didn't pick it up in the first place, it wouldn't hurt. You understand what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to hurt wood, not me. So if I
Mm-hmm.
cut my own hand off, it is what it is. However, clearly the snake was a human because I think animals are smarter. Hey, pain, stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's this privilege. This is what the Lord told me, right? He said, Toya, you know why you keep holding on to being molested? I said, why that, Lord? He said, because that help you justify the foolishness you do.
Mm. Come on.
You want somebody to tell, sorry, it's like that. Oh, you're going to squeeze it now. Oh, you're just going to squeeze whatever it is that you know is potentially danger for you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think about the training, right? Animals are not trained. Humans can. Humans got God so it can lead us. And it makes me think about I help train myself to hold on to stuff. Your parents would be like, well, don't do this because your face will get stuck like that because over time, if you keep doing it, it'll stay like that. Well, it's the same way with our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had came from this pain and I held on to it, now it became a habit at 40. So now I got to break that habit because I didn't train myself to keep grabbing onto this saw. And if I
Mm-hmm.
just keep
Yep.
squeezing tight and bleed,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a rescue. But no, the rescue is already in you. Let go.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel it on the inside, but sometimes you want to hold on because it helps us justify our unrighteousness. So we're gonna hold on to it. Some of us, I think, at times, I felt like if I'm gonna be hurt, I might as well join them and hurt myself too.
Mm.
So you understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
ain't no need to just get hurt from the outside, hurt myself too. And then it'll feel better. It helped me cope and deal with the pain as well. So
Mm.
again, when you're that snake, which is clearly a human, there's so many ways and angles that we can flip continue to hurt ourselves, but we will never get healed until we let go.
Exactly, exactly. Now, Leonard, is there a point in the time where that snake should realize, and Toya said the snake is a human, so that snake should realize that that's your own blood that you're seeing that's being shed. It's not coming from the soul.
Well, it's the snake believes it can win.
Wow.
The snake believes it can win. A lot of people do things and they be hurting them, but they keep going because they think they can win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we start take it out of context because it is a very figurative type of thing.
Yes.
If you think of it as a snake or as a person, we're supposed to use it as people
Mm-hmm.
and how we behave that way in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be as dumb as a snake.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be. But
Shouldn't be.
think about a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if your emotions rule you and you got a one-track mind, then people wind up dead a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got cemeteries full of these type of people because they couldn't leave well enough alone. You got shot
Wow.
one time.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't good enough. You almost lost your life on several occasions. That you had to keep going. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you went to jail, did a little bit there, a little bit here. Next thing you know, before you know it, now you're doing life.
Wow.
So
Good
we have
stuff.
to make sure we can take that picture and that story and translate it to a real context. And some
Mm-hmm.
people say, well, that's absurd. No, it's not. Not when you really translate it properly. It's not absurd. Look what Toya just told you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that. You ain't got to think about no snake or nothing. Just for what
Mm-hmm.
Toya told you alone is how we need to make sure we're translating this picture and this story. Who are you? Are you the snake or are you the salt?
Mm. Wow.
I'm the
That's good.
salt
Mm-hmm.
in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I simply don't have that. I don't function on that mentality as that snake does in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have more experience with being the snake.
And not wanting to lose.
Right. So everybody don't identify, you just think, all right, nobody wants to. Some people got to identify with the snake, and that's what makes you, hey, I need to get myself together before I kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you see yourself as that snake, it should make you want to say, you know what, I gotta stop this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still bleeding. I know one of the things that we talk about when we're solving a problem, first thing you do is a trauma situation, stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
You gotta stop the person from bleeding. Or they
Mm-hmm.
surely gonna die if you don't stop them from bleeding and they losing a lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Before you do anything else, you got to stop the bleeding.
And but Leonard, in situations like this, that's very hard to do. It's real hard to stop the bleeding when the person when the initial person that's actually caused the bleeding is they're doing it to themselves.
That's one of the things. That's why therapy and things of that nature is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit here. I don't really, understand that urge that way. But like Toya explained it. She explained it. I mean, better than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she had to come to grips with what she was doing. She
Yeah.
identified why she was doing what she was doing, and that's how she was able to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important. Imagine being able to live if you just turn it loose. If you live, you can heal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
people should take that into consideration. It don't matter how bad if you still living, you can heal.
Mm-hmm. But when you die, it's over.
It's over. If you keep fighting, I'm telling you, It
Mm-hmm.
ain't. Some people don't get. Some people don't get lucky like 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
shot how many times?
5 times.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't get that lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point you have to I applaud all those brothers that have made something out of their lives from the beginnings of hip hop and how they were just hunted and everybody was after them,
Mm-hmm.
trying to shoot them down, there was horrible people, lock them up, get rid of them. But
Ministers of society.
right, but even though they had their issues, at some point they turned their lives around.
Mm-hmm.
They decided what they was doing out there in the streets couldn't compare to what they could be doing in them studios.
Come on.
And now many of them are multi-millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
One of my greatest, I like guys like Dre, P, Master P. Snoop Dogg's brand is amazing all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jay-Z and all those guys, the whole Wu-Tang Clan.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were street kids. Remember, they had hold. The government was after them.
Mm-hmm.
COINTELPRO. Everybody was blaming all their problems on rap music.
Yep. It's them rappers.
Right. But you know what? All those guys even those guys that was affiliated found a way to get out while they could.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at what their lives have become.
Exactly. Exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Man, this I don't know what your topic is, but you need to be. I can't say what you need to do, but you're gonna stay here all day for real because there's so many people think that they're the salt, but they're the snake,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel they feel the pain. And somebody said, I think, somebody said they see their own blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's stars don't bleed.
Come on.
it,
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That's good. Go ahead. That's good.
it cuts you. I mean, it cuts you down to the bone, but
Mm-hmm.
you just won't let go.
Mm-hmm.
And when we continue, and I say this over and again, I look at it and see how relationships that their blood, they let their blood bleed on.
Mm-hmm.
It bleeds on into their children. Your daddy wasn't with a dime. Your mama ain't nothing but a bunch. And then the child grows up confused and hate
Mm-hmm.
both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's your blood.
Yep.
If you would have just let it go,
Mm-hmm.
So it is a lot. And I'm kind of, um, I don't know how to say this. But, I don't not saying that I'm the salt, but I believe that I might be more like the salt because I let you go.
Mm-hmm.
I let it go.
Mm-hmm.
If you have, or me and you, just to use for the instance, and I'll shut up. If we fall out right now, right here,
Mm-hmm.
you can call me tomorrow, and I won't mention it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people that kick the can of hurt down the street, kicking it, kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. The can don't bleed either.
Exactly.
But your toes be hurt
Mm-hmm.
because you can't just let it go. If you just let go, y'all both can go on to doing what you're naturally supposed to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you grab and hold, and you're gonna bleed out.
Exactly.
I'm just
Exactly. Now, Toya, what if that snake was squeezing that salt and squeezing that salt and squeezing that salt, not because necessarily it wanted to, but you had people in the background. I know you ain't gonna let that salt get away with that. I know you ain't gonna let that salt do this. Man, you gonna let that salt do that to you? Oh man! And then you get to squeezing and squeezing and squeezing because you got all these cheerleaders and instigators in the background that's leading you on and leading you on. Toya, what do you say about those instigators?
Well, the great thing about being your own living thing is that, you're not like a tree where somebody has to come take your branch and make you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it still boils down to your choice. You understand what I'm saying? I think I'm like the South too. You understand? If I cut you, it's gonna be because I'm just laying there, honey. It ain't gonna be because I did nothing to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you decide to squeeze on me now and you get cut, it's like, well, I'm a soul. I can only do something if you pick me up and you make a motion. Like I don't do that. So at the end of the day, I mean, no one can make you feel anything except for you, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
What people say, what people do, what people give you, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the underlying decision takes the energy and the thoughts of that living being to make the next action.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And that is why you get held accountable by yourself when you handling the Lord. And he don't listen. When the Lord dealt with me, the unbelievable part was, right? He didn't even talk to me about what was done to me. He talked to me about everything I had done. Nobody makes you do anything. It's in you. And if you decide to hold on, or if you decide, you know what? If we be honest, and I'm just gonna be honest with me, that's why I'm able to be honest with others. I cut myself. Whether it was privilege, whether it was because I wanted to be rebellious, whether it because I didn't believe that boo boo stink, whether it was because I thought I was gonna win. I cut myself. Period. You can fool yourself all you want to and act like you don't know it takes education to be somebody. You can act like you don't know all you want to, that you can't be walking around here having sex and doing drugs and not getting no folks and not getting doing the simple humanitarian basics, all you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you cut yourself when you walk in denial. You cut yourself when you sleep with a man before you get married. You cut yourself if you don't do everything you can to save money and build your household. You cut yourself when you operate outside the guidelines of what God has set forth, even if you have the choice.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, the only way we can recognize that we need to let go of the soul is that when we see the blood, we need to stop, like Linda said, and find out where it's coming from, what's going on. Maybe it's dark. Maybe you lost your senses. I don't know. Maybe you don't know what it is. Maybe it's covered up by grass and you think it's, I don't know. But once you see the blood, you need to stop and find out where the bleed is coming from. Like you said, reverse the action if it's going to heal.
Yes.
Because a snake can get cut, but it's either going to take a human being. We talk about animals, right? Animals get in predicaments all the time. They need a human being to come help it unravel it because they can't rationalize.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to have to let go on their own and let the healing process pursue.
Wow, that's good. That's good because there's so many different layers on this thing here, man. We're gonna get to our topic for today, man. But this right here is so much meat on this right here. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, we should just
Yeah.
keep going because I didn't even realize that this was the topic for today.
No, it's not. It's not.
I didn't think so, but I prefer this one to what I had read.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to be lost on that other one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the cure to so many issues. If you even go into more depth, even with the picture, 9 times out of 10, that saw ain't done nothing.
Exactly.
That saw was just laying there.
Mm-hmm.
That snake went over there and bothered that saw and started mess with the saw.
And what if just what if and we just throwing some stuff out here. What if the snake was just going on his way and just kind of on the saw just landed and the snake just rubbed against the saw as he was going on his path and the blaze of the saw do what the blaze of the saw do? Cut you.
You would think that'd be enough. You gonna get the saw back. You gonna get the saw back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's strange, but there are some people with that mentality, and it has led to early graves. for many people.
That's destructive, though, Leonard. I mean,
What
that
time? Have
mindset.
you looked around your community?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
Dad,
I'm just saying, I don't make one thing about me, I don't make excuses for nobody, and I don't get nobody no pass.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I had to come the same way.
Yeah.
If I came through, I believe that anybody can come through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have these stories of where people tried to keep me from doing what I was going to do and all the no, man. I gave you the exact impression. If you got in my way, I would run you right over.
Mm.
And so it's never going to be me
Mm-hmm.
even giving you that much that you could distract me from my path
Wow.
because I'm on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, half of that mission is not going to jail, minding my own. Like Donald said, that's why I love what Tucson be saying. Stuff like, I got what, Tucson, he got 6 months to mind his own,
Yeah.
6
Been.
months to mind his business, and 6
Mm-hmm.
months to leave yours alone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm like a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want you to notice me if I ain't on stage. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so much easier to move that way when you ain't out here with a chip on your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
thinking somebody owe you something, or things have to be a certain way because of whatever false reality you have in your mind. So we have to really check that in people and to realize that some people are just that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to always antagonize people. They'll do it to themselves.
Yeah.
They hate the fact that you laying over there minding your own business in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And haven't
Right.
you ever told somebody, you know how you got this comment for somebody to say, if I tell you not today,
Mm-hmm.
trust me,
You
not
don't want to
today.
do it. You don't want to
Not
do it.
today.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, I've already know I'm not into protecting you today.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you say to me, like I have a brand that, you know, is a dark brand. And it's you know, come get skull, you know. I know you probably
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah. I seen it. Yeah. Yeah. I seen
Yeah,
it. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I just told you what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you think gonna happen to you? You come over there.
Don't jump over the fence. Stay on the other side of that fence.
That's right. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have to understand that if it hurt like that, if you bleed, why not let it go? Or let you just got a death wish?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way in the world that snake was gonna win. The only way for the snake to win was let go.
Mm-hmm.
How much damage did he do though?
How
You
much
know,
is it
I
gonna
know
take?
guys, they was the man on the block. Now they in wheelchairs because they paralyzed because they
Mm-hmm.
got shot. You know, somebody caught the man with his back turned.
Yeah.
Now he in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you think young men wind up in wheelchairs like that? Because usually they've been shot
Yep.
and paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
When you see young guys on canes,
And it's amazing. You wake up and you never know that that's that day.
you never know. But you always know in the back of your mind that your day is coming if you
Mm-hmm.
continue to live that lifestyle. Because this is what old wisdom was teaching cats on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you make it. You know, look at folks our age. This wasn't what people predicted for us.
Yep.
But one, I didn't even pay attention to them old wicked, self-fulfilling prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed I was in a university and it gets to a point where I'm the only black male in the class. But I'm not gonna let that distract me.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about who else there, it's about I'm there. And so I try to encourage people to understand, what do you want? If that's what you want, then that's what you should go get. You shouldn't hear nothing else. That's where
Mm-hmm.
your focus should be. If it don't add to the plan, it got to come out of the plan.
Now, in in most stories, as it is on TV or books or whatever the case, Donald, there's always a hero and a villain. In this story, who's the hero and the villain? And can those roles be reversed?
I thought about. I can't understand, and I don't know if I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Um, I thought about those that say they are children of God.
Mm,
Okay, let me just throw it out there.
come on.
I can't understand why they are manipulative or vindictive. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be when the scripture says you're more than conqueror. You're the
Mm-hmm.
star.
Yeah.
You're the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender, not the borrower.
Mm-hmm.
You see how it worked out for Christ, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Maybe they thought he was the snake, but the snake grabbed hold to her. But you know what? Third day he got up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose. You can't lose because we don't bother people, but we don't worry about it when they bother us.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I'm doing is I'm a pilgrim. I'm not. This is not my home. I'm not holding on to it. I don't let the whole thing go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even. I'm not even. I say this and I say this over again. I hope somebody might not say, "Well, he's not patriotic," but I'm not even a citizen of this country. I
Mm-hmm.
got my citizenship,
Yeah.
but I've never accepted this country because it never had to accept me.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I'm not a resident of Mississippi
Mm-hmm.
or the South because the mentality I don't fit. So
Mm-hmm.
life has a tendency to grab hold to you, and no weapon formed against you gonna prosper.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I just let when folks try to
Welcome.
sabotage me
Mm-hmm.
and undermine me, I say, oh, let's see how that's gonna work out for them because I'm gonna be
Absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Daria. What's on your heart, sis? You been listening?
No, I was kind of like in a dead zone. Where are you
Oh.
guys now in the conversation?
Well, I asked a question about in most stories, in most movies or books or whatever, there's a hero and a villain.
Hmm.
Who do you think in this scenario that we're talking about with the snake and the chainsaw? Who's the hero and who's the villain? And can those roles be changed?
I think because when I was on earlier, I was listening to Toya and Leonard, and I was also thinking about the scenario itself where, me, I'm going to scripture says that we die daily. And
Mm-hmm.
so, from a spiritual perspective, sometimes I believe the things that we go through, uh, when we hold on to them, they allow us to go through that spiritual dying process in order to change something in us. Um, so, in me looking at this scenario, I can see it from more than one perspective. Sometimes when we hold on to things, it is for our good. We die from a certain characteristic that maybe we need to let go of, and that part of us needs to die. So, saying that in the question you asked, yes, in between the saw and the snake, the roles can be interchanged. Uh, at some point, we're our own villain, and at some point we're our own hero, and at some point the things that hurt us is our villain, and at some point it becomes our hero, depending on how we handle and process out the situation. For me, like with anger needed to die in me, so I held on to it until the situation in my life became so bad. I was in the bed and couldn't walk and had to have someone to care for me.
Mm.
So that anger in me needed to die.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order for it to die, me holding on to whatever it was until that part of me died became a heroic experience in my life,
Wow.
because that part of me was a danger to me and everybody around me. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Toya, what do you say to that? Will those roles can those roles be interchangeable? We got a caller. We're gonna go to the caller right after you, Toya. But can those roles be interchangeable? Hero, villain.
Absolutely. Just like Daria just said, I think we are our own hero and our own villain, and that's what will be the other. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's an interchangeable process. Period. Depending on what your purpose and your point is.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you know, being the snake holding on to the saw, I think oftentimes let's just say we hold on to it, we notice the cut and we stop, right? Go
Mm-hmm.
through the healing process. Then we sit there, we don't move, we don't do nothing else. But the fantastic thing would be if the snake was to tap in into how to use the saw and work with it and create things, use the saw for it and create things. Now, wouldn't that be fantastic to see
Mm-hmm.
that the snake used the saw the way it's supposed to be and use it to make beautiful, wonderful things? How much you think they'll pay per pop after everything it creates?
Mm.
So like what the sister just said, it can be used for our good if we use the tool the way it's supposed to be used.
Come
You
on.
have to tap in. The first time you might not get it. The first time you might hold on to tight. But when you let go and refocus and let the main one, the creator, how can a snake learn to use the saw to create a chair? Oh,
Mm.
God can do that. A
Mm-hmm.
human can probably be used as a tool to train, to help train the snake and treat it, to get could help condition it. But only God can tap into a living being. Only the Creator can tap into that living being and let it use that tool what it's used for, especially after it's wounded. But
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes I think we hold on to things and lay there, don't get up, don't do nothing no more. We don't want to touch the salt, we don't want to touch the tree, we just don't even want to no more. Even if we know we did this, and that's where we got to tap into our Creator and ask, what do I need to do? Maybe I did it wrong. But even if I cut myself and I'm still alive, that's the key word. Somebody said that earlier too. If I'm still alive,
Mm-hmm.
help me to be able to use this tool for my destiny.
Exactly, exactly. I'm gonna read the story again because we got a few people that just came on with us. I want to make sure they understand exactly where we are, and there's quite a few listeners that's jumped on too. So I'm gonna let them understand exactly what we're talking about. So let me read this story again, and I want you all to take it, and we're gonna take it from where it is, and we're gonna build from it. Again, this is not our topic for today. I don't know if we're gonna even get to the topic because there's so much meat tied up in here. Let me read this story. There was a snake that crawled over a sharp saw. Let me say it like this: a sharp saw, and was cut. In anger, the snake wrapped the saw with his thick body and proceeded to squeeze the life out of the saw. With each angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it wasn't going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused it. The snake refused to let go of the saw, eventually died, not knowing the whole time he needed to let go of the initial pain and focus on his future and where it was going. Instead, the snake unfortunately lost its life and didn't even see it coming. Control your anger, forgive those that hurt you, and don't give power or things power over you. It would ultimately kill you. Good morning, Rico. How you doing this morning, sir?
Grand Rising, my brothers and sisters. How everybody doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good, brother. Tell me in that story right there. What did you hear in that story?
Well, it's self-explanatory. It tells the story, then it gets to the end of it and tells you the end result. Well, I ain't gonna even say the end result. The logic that
Mm-hmm.
should have been used.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it just really shows you that some animals are aggressive. They don't, some animals don't have the logic of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it would be hard for me to try to relate that story to how humans act, but at the same time, you do have some human beings that are so angry and aggressive that they do shoot themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
They do put their own noose around that. They put the noose around their own neck. So it is a good parable,
Mm-hmm.
for somebody that doesn't have any sense. Some people that get crazy with rage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have people like that. You know, people that get so mad that they commit suicide by cop. You know, I think Mikhail Bryant was in that situation. She was the snake.
Mm. And wouldn't let
You
go.
know, so she wouldn't let go. She didn't have a saw, but she had a knife,
Mm-hmm.
and she was ready to squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean, so you
yeah.
know that there is a very relevant, story to be told in that. Like you said, at the end, it really just boils down to the point that sometimes you have to realize that you might be hurting yourself. The reason why you're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Sit back and analyze. Go back, look back, see why you're hurting, and once you find out why you're hurting, then you might figure out you're the one that's causing it. Maybe you're causing it because you're going around people that's hurting you, and you just don't want to let these snakes go.
And see, one of the things about it is and this line here sticks out to me. I read it before as well. With every angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it wasn't going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused it. And see, we don't understand that. We're saying that the saw is causing the pain. No, 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 no. The saw is not causing the pain. The pain is being caused because you continue to squeeze on that saw, and in your anger, you squeeze harder and harder and harder because you're trying to hurt the saw and trying to give that saw the same pain that you're feeling when all you have to do is let go. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning, fellas. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Did you hear the story, brother?
No, I haven't, bro. What's going on?
Man, I'm gonna read the story one more time. God Almighty, I want to make sure you understand what's going on. And from the counselor standpoint, you may be able to talk to us from the counselor standpoint. There was a snake that crawled over a sharp saw and was cut. In the anger, the snake wrapped the saw with its thick body and proceeded to squeeze the life out of the saw. With each angry squeeze, it felt more pain, but continued because it was not going to let the saw get away with the pain it caused it. The snake, the snake refusing to let go of the saw eventually died, not knowing the whole time he needed to let go of the initial pain and focus on the future and where it was going. Instead, the snake unfortunately lost its life and didn't even see it coming. Control your anger, forgive those who hurt you, and don't give power or things power over you. It can ultimately kill you. What is in that story, Curtis?
Oh man, that's a whole bunch of gifts, whole bunch of jewels. One man has to realize that anger is by far one of the uh, closest that a human being can come to his animal instincts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as an animal, when you're hurt or when you feel like the prey, or when you tell that lie to yourself that you're the prey, you develop what I would call a killer instinct. And because you're angry, your killer instinct does not allow for you to even perceive the fact that if I can let go of this anger, I can let go of this pain.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of jewels within that story, but the bottom line is, hey, anger will always cause some form of pain,
Mm-hmm.
even to those, even after you have inflicted it on someone else, there will always be a certain level of pain that you will experience as long as you continue to hold on to the anger for that individual and or situation. I'm reminded of I'll end with this. I'm reminded of, being a soldier and you down range and it get hot, you know, and you're forced to do what you have to do, what you was trained to do. That level of anger that pushes you to that point that you have to uh take another life, those lives go with you.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, they haunt you and they create a certain level of pain upon you that until you can really find the space and the place to let it go and to figure out that, you know, I was in a situation that I had no control over. It can really it can damage a lot of people, man. There's a lot of soldiers that commit suicide on a daily basis, and it's because they're still holding on to certain levels of anger, being told to do certain things that they completely morally didn't believe in and or didn't want to do, but because of situations they had to do. You know what I mean? So, man, that's a whole lot in that story, man. I hope a whole lot of your listeners, you know, take that in and really process that, man, because it's destroying the world, man. This anger is destroying the world. I mean, you just look at what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now, man.
Hold on.
Nothing but anger.
Exactly. Hold on, Curtis.
Hatred, bro.
Hold on. I got somebody else I want to pull in. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good overall.
Good deal. I'm glad to hear that, brother. What did you hear in that story, Badger?
Which one?
The one I read.
I think I missed it.
Badger, you was on when I read it just now.
I was also kids.
Okay. Leonard, I'm gonna read the story again for Badger. I'm gonna read it, but I want to go to you for a second. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm just listening. I want you to go ahead and read that story so Badger can get it. That's what you're gonna do.
Okay.
Before, go ahead.
Let me see here. Let me pull it back up here. Somebody in the car. Let me see here. Let me pull it up here. Why you ain't doing that?
I was going to say, couldn't you just send it to him and let him read it?
Huh?
Couldn't you just send it to him and let him read it?
Let me see. Can I copy it? I might be able to copy it and text it to him. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
You're gonna spend the whole show reading that story over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what I think about. I think about 2 years ago, in a 4-month span, you had 3 different boxers die in the ring. They were trying to go out there and fight, but for some reason, they didn't know the limitations. So one of the people, if I am mistaken, one of the brothers, I don't even think he made it out the ring. They had to carry him out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one guy, I saw this fight live, a white guy. Not only did the referees have in their mind that they needed to fight a little bit more instead of stopping it, and I know this man was taking a beating because I thought the fight should have been stopped, but he kept fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
He kept fighting back. He made it through the round. I think he even made it through the end of the fight, and he died later on. They had to take him out the ring on a stretcher. He made it to the end. He was trained. He was trying to do that. He was trying to go beyond what was good for him just to fight. That wasn't no snake. That was a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it goes to show you sometimes we can be in a situation where our goals, they're good goals. You know what I'm saying? They're valiant goals to be a boxing champion, to be the best that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we got to know when to quit. Got to know when to hold them and got to know when to fold.
So Rico, and what you're saying right now, do you think money is that saw? And people try to hold on to it so long, and it kills and it consumes them.
Sometimes it could be money, then sometimes it's just a spirit of competition. Some people just like to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be the best at what they invested the time in. You don't want to go out here and invest your time into being the next Muhammad Ali, but then all of a sudden you can't get into the top 100 of your weight class. But this is your dream, and you're investing all this time. You put in the same work as Floyd Mayweather, but you can't make it out the first round of the Golden Gloves. But some people don't keep on trying because they think, man, I could box. I believe I could beat Floyd. You remember I told you I had a cousin told me he'll whoop Mike Tyson?
Okay.
Man, Mike, how that my old lady, man? I don't care who Mike is. I'll whoop Mike. Okay.
Yeah, okay. No,
that's that machismo.
Mm-hmm.
See, we got to, you know, sometimes men are programmed to be killers and aggressive. And your anger has to stand up for you to get your respect sometimes by any means necessary. So we turn into those snakes that get consumed with rage.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to happen though. I heard people saying earlier about the choices we make. And we do have choices, but sometimes, man, if you don't know any better, you can't do any better. Then sometimes you just don't have the tools.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think sometimes if everybody had a choice and their decisions could make a change, I wonder if the slaves would have stayed slaves as long as they did.
Mm.
Somebody didn't have the choice.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good.
Somebody didn't have the choice.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if somebody put a gun in your mouth, you might not have a choice. You might leave here. Yeah, you got a choice, life or death.
Yep. And at that point in time, you have to make that decision. Toy, you with a T, talk to me. It says, Badge, I sent the story to you.
Yeah.
Hold on, Badge. Toy, you with a T, talk to me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Choice is always in the building, and so is consequences. You know what I mean? So you
Mm-hmm.
gotta play it fairly. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the saw gonna do to you. The fact is that it's gonna do what it do, depending on how you use it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's every situation. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest things that the Lord dealt with me with is first facing my foolishness in order to pick up and move forward. And once I started noticing that I'm cutting myself, now I can monitor my behaviors now when I handle this all. You know what I'm saying? And you still got a choice because some of us are hard headed. We want to keep doing it the way we're doing it and not the way we are taught or showed or, whatever. But ultimately, whatever choice we make is a consequence. And when we have these consequences, ultimately we have to face that to get over them. And again, I like how Rico said that the young lady with the knife was kind of her own saw, right? Because we even if we're not trained, the fact of the matter is, if we pick up the wrong weapon and we don't have self control, it can have dire consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not even for us, but for other people. You know what I mean? So this conversation right here, even though it's we're using it from another perspective, I think it's good because oftentimes we don't want to acknowledge our own faults.
Mm-hmm.
So for those listening, I think I dare people to try to ask themselves that question. What are they? Are they the snake? Are they the saw? Are they bleeding? Are they not? Are they using the saw right? And then see how you can apply new rules to your life by stopping the bleed if you recognize you have one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Badger, coming to you. What's on your heart, brother? You read the story?
Yeah, I read the story.
Okay. Badger, you so happy this morning, brother? What's on your heart?
Oh, I find a lot of humor in this one.
There's no humor there, brother.
From my perspective.
I don't see it, but you may see it from where you are, but I don't see it. But go ahead.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the kind of stuff people ask me, how I've worked through, not being like my mother and my father, not letting some of the past, yeah, it cut me, but I'm not holding on to it. I'm using it as a tool to be able to work towards a change so it doesn't happen to others.
Mm-hmm.
But what you sent me is something that, like, when I'm out and about and stuff, and when I'm on Discord and gaming and things, is actually something I share with people, and I find it humorous because of the amount of people that get angry about it, or even bringing up the concept of working on self. Like, do you still want to be acting a fool like you are, or do you want to better your life? And to me, I just find it humorous because it's better to laugh about watching people choosing to do the same old stuff than get angry at them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I just kind of laugh and just
It's
give
a better
thanks and prayer for them to get better, and that's
mm-hmm.
about all I can do sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It's a better place of comfort for you to laugh and instead of trying to get caught up and consumed. And I understand what you're saying. So Daria, what's on your heart?
Hey, I'm just listening to the different perspectives and it's amazing with how also the story relates to a person's own perceptions of what's good and what's bad. I was listening to Rico's story where he was talking about the man in the ring and he just kept fighting, kept fighting. Then I related to what you read to us. So it's like sometimes in life we get cut. And so then, we keep fighting and we keep getting cut. And again, I take it to Jesus. I mean, he had this fight that he had to, or his purpose that he had to live out. And in that purpose, I can't imagine how many times Jesus was cut, but he couldn't let go of that purpose
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that purpose in the end ultimately was going to change something. So sometimes, even when we're being consistently cut, when we hold on to our purpose in something, see, the snake was not out of character. The snake was just being a snake.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the snake's character. When something attacks it and they are able to get a hold of it, their character is to squeeze and not let go, because
Mm-hmm.
they are ultimately trying to bring that thing or person to its demise.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the character or purpose of a person, sometimes they're going to get cut and cut and cut until they bleed out and ultimately die, but they die in their purpose. So I was, looking at that with what Rika was saying. Yeah, that man fought and fought and fought. Ultimately, he died, but did he die in his purpose? And did he make an impression to leave forever like Christ did? He died in that cutting and people spitting and being whipped and being hung on a cross. You think those weren't cuts? Yeah, those were some deep cuts, but it was a part of his purpose because the end goal was eternal life for other people.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's go to Donald Toussaint. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Um, let me when I think about my sister that just spoke, I think she mentioned our community. We hold we grab hold to the saw of the past, and we just tear ourselves up, and we say, and y'all have to excuse me, we say that's the white man's fault. He don't even come to your neighborhood. If
Mm-hmm.
you move in his neighborhood, he moved out. So how is it somebody else's blame for your demise when you kill your own self? And
Mm-hmm.
then we repeat the same hurt over and over again, reminding ourselves of being a slave. I ain't never been a slave. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm confused, but I can't hold on to that hurt. That
Mm-hmm.
just gonna mess me up. That's gonna make me angry. I'm gonna get mad by somebody hanging my ancestors or sicking the dogs on them or having them to get off the side of the sidewalk. Let me move on. That's somebody else's business. That's not mine now. I'll remember. But the saw was just laying there when I got here.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no use me pick that up because it ain't gonna do nothing but hurt me. So when I'm just kind of going through it, when I saw the saw of the past laying there, ain't no use me grab hold to it because it's gonna make me bleed out. So I just let it go and I
Mm-hmm.
move on and I do things that are better for me. For me, it's better to leave it alone because I saw the sharpness of it.
Yeah.
But it's designed The saw is designed to cut you. That's what it does.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we learn to just move on,
And let it
I don't
go.
know,
And
we
let it go.
probably be better. And yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
let it
exactly.
go.
Sometimes that's easy. Unfortunately, sometimes that's easier said than done. Though that's easier said than done. Sometimes,
Definitely.
yeah,
Yes.
and so that's that's the part that's so disheartening. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Once again, to me, that goes back to that instinct
Mm-hmm.
of that snake. The snake is a predator. It's trying to kill, attack, and it's trying to be tenacious. So anytime, it's especially depending on the snake. I think maybe all snakes are that way, but they are vicious. They can be to the point to where it can harm itself. I mean, that's pretty much what the story was telling.
Mm-hmm.
You see people all the time misusing tools. I know I heard Toya say it a couple of times when I first called in. I was gonna do my intro like that. A fool misusing a tool,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't know how to use the tool. It didn't know how to use the tool properly. Probably didn't even understand that it was a tool. But in the human perspective, you have some people that just like that snake. They misuse tools. They misuse the knives. They misuse guns. They misuse cars. They text while they driving.
Mm-hmm.
They misuse money. They get rich and then they go out here and try every drug they can because they only live once. YOLO.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got a lot of snakes out here squeezing on saws and don't even realize it. And some of them read the same story that we read. I posted it yesterday too. I think plenty of people walking around on this planet are doing self-destructive things to themselves and don't even realize it. Things that don't benefit them, but they like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in their nature. It's like a man sowing his oats. If you ain't sowing your oats, you ain't no man.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these men out here sowing their oats so much they're getting burnt behind it. They stay up in the clinic because they don't like protection. They got their own preference. So they depending on how they've been brought up a program, depending on who their influence was, they might have been brought up by somebody that influenced them that wouldn't sit with protection. It didn't count. So now this is their mindset. And they out here playing Russian roulette every time they lay down with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different situations where you see people being the snake, grabbing onto the saw, doing damage themselves and don't even realize it. But it's just their nature and their ambition, their craving, whatever their desires that's causing them to hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Badger, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
That's kind of what I was hinting at,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the version of it I see the most. You know, yeah, I've seen people fight and fight and fight, and they're getting rocks thrown at them and different things like that, and they're continuing to fight for a good purpose and things like that. But the ones that are walking their path and then they just get cut by something, and that's just they put all their focus onto that one thing. It's how much of life are they missing? If they're a parent, how much of their child's lives are they missing? Or their families, because they're so one track minded at that point. It's um and that's where I think introspection comes into play. Is it worth being one track minded and constantly focusing on that one thing, or is it better to let it go? You might have the scar and it might remind
Mm-hmm.
you,
Yes.
off and on,
Mm-hmm.
but are you going to let it make you stronger, or are you going to let it teach you what not to do? Like what could you learn from it
Mm-hmm.
versus what would happen if you don't let go?
And one of the things I love about what you just said, man, a lot of times if you do let it go and you walk away, and you let that saw go and go on with your life. Every time you look at that scar that it left behind, it will be a remembrance of what you should not do. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
As as we were talking about earlier, how there's a lot to that story and that picture, and people will have different perceptions based on their relationship to every object in the picture, as well as the words that you read.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about it. All the various combinations of all the problems of everything that we just mentioned. 4 years ago, I posted something on Facebook that came up when you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Wow.
says how many people have created their own struggles.
Mm. Mm.
Some people you will not be able to get them to understand that the majority of the time they've created their own struggle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some people get belligerent about it. Some people have whole ideologies around why they have not succeeded in life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a bunch of BS.
Yes, sir.
Your life is probably exactly what you put into it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's your life.
Exactly.
You
Wow.
could have chosen many things, and I know we have a lot of conversations about belief, and that's one thing I separate from knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got to be smart to believe in something.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I can just believe it just because that's what I want to do, whether regardless. That's one thing I have that you can't take away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make Sedaria believe anything,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how hard I try. Like when I hear the story of the black people that hate Christianity because somehow the slave master made them be Christians, believe in Christ. Come on now, you can't make someone believe anything. However, just like that snake, if you're going to be that stubborn, that could be your whole life like that. Imagine that, no peace. So, as a practice, I always try to move away from those things that cause pain,
Mm-hmm.
just for my own peace. But the gift that I have from God is I can pretend I am not even me and go take care of some business.
Mm-hmm. Watch this. Watch this. Toya with a T.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. If the teacher go in the classroom and every time the teacher sat at her desk, there's a thumbtack on that chair. How many times that teacher gonna how long is it gonna take for that teacher to stop sitting in that chair and try to discover what's going on?
It depends on the teacher. You might want to keep on going through it. Who knows?
Mm,
You might want to fool yourself into believing it's not going to happen again.
mm,
You know what I mean? It depends on each individual. Again, ultimately, it's a choice. On what we choose to be blind at and what we choose to face, what we choose to be proactive about and what we choose to be reactive about. You know what I mean? And it's a chess game. Like Linda just said, ultimately, if we keep going into that class, sitting down without looking down the first time it happened,
mm-hmm,
and the second time. By time number 10 now, come on with the jokes.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's up to us, and that's insanity. Doing the same thing, thinking nothing's gonna happen. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. You should be able to go into your classroom and do that. But since you got other entities, that's not the case. Now you need to be on your P's and Q's. And if you're not, it's just on you. Doesn't take away the fact on how other people are gonna act around you. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Especially to the teacher. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's up to us to be able to identify where the pains in the butts is coming from and remove them. Unless you just like pains in the butt. Now, if you like pains in the butt, then you cool with whatever whatever pain goes to your butt because that's just what you like.
You have such a beautiful way of putting that. You have such a beautiful way of putting it. So, Daria, what do you say to that? If they keep sitting in that chair time and time again, they're gonna play connect the dots on their behind because it's gonna be so many.
Mhm.
Go ahead. What do you say to that?
I'm just laughing at Toya because that's so true. Some people like pain in the butt. And that's what I was thinking about when you brought up the scenario. I think about people who get tattoos over and over and over. And then, after they get the tattoo, although they have something to show for their pain, see, that's what some people like to have something to show for their pain. They have to
Mm-hmm.
have battle scars to show for their pain in order to prove their toughness and their worth. So when I think about tattoos, because my kids have tattoos, I've never had one, and
Mm-hmm.
they would get the tattoos, and first of all, they try to sneak because they know I wasn't into it. So they would
Mm-hmm.
sneak and go get the tattoos, and my daughter got one that covered her whole back,
Mm.
and she hid it because she didn't want me to know. But every time I would like put my hand on her shoulder or touch her where it would touch her back, she would jump. And that's how I found out that she had it. And I thought, okay, she's in so much pain with this. But yet, soon as it healed, she went and got another one on her foot. And then she went and got another one on her arm. And then she went and got another one. And so this is some people enjoy and settle into the pain of their choices. And
Mm-hmm.
so then they get so accustomed to this pain that becomes their normal. They don't
Mm-hmm.
even know how to respond and react when the pain is not happening. Now, for me, I would say that's a broken behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, that may be their comfort zone. As Leonard said, we all have choice. We all know, scripturally, for those of us who know the scripture, that is something that God gave us. He said, choose ye this day who you gonna serve. Are you going to make good choices or are you going to make bad choices? Leonard said that we are the creation of our own choices. And that is absolutely true because that is something that God did not take from us. And then we want to blame other people for the outcome of our lives, but the true outcome are the choices you made, even in a situation as Toya said, although she was violated, initially her choice was to hold on to the pain. But as
Mm-hmm.
soon as she chose to let it go, then a freedom came with that. So even in a bad situation, it's still your choice. So choice is the ultimate weapon that we have against our hurt in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tucson, talk to me, brother. Donna, you there? I'm about to say it to you, Donna.
Yeah, I know you was about to say, but I beat you to the punch.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I had to move out for a bit. Where you at?
No, we man. I don't even know if we're gonna get to our topic today, man. We might get to it the
You ain't
last
gonna
30 minutes.
get to it. Leave it alone.
Leave
Save
alone.
it for Wednesday.
Save it for
Because
Wednesday.
I'm like Leonard. I was gonna be confused on that anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's on your heart, man? If this teacher sit in this chair, Tucson, every time she go to her desk, she sit in the chair and there's a tack in the chair. She jump up, move the tack, and go back again, sit down again, and there's another tack. How many times she got to keep doing that before she realizes that something ain't right with this situation here now, and gonna stop it or stop whoever it is that's putting that tack in the chair?
You remember how you used to do that when you was in school?
Mm-hmm.
Put that tack in the teacher chair.
Yeah.
They fall for it every time, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Jump up. Woo.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting there innocent. I don't know, man. That's we do the same thing. We sit on the tack. Ain't no
Mm-hmm.
different from the teacher.
Yeah.
Uh, Things that are not for our good.
Mm-hmm.
We assume that whoever put it there the last time then saw the errors of their ways, and they're not gonna do it again. But the thing about it is, they lied to you. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get you.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good deal. Now, Rico, what if that song was words that's coming out of people's mouth, and those words was just that hurtful? What does a person do? Because sometimes they say, "Well, I just can't get away from that person." Or I keep going around that person. If you keep allowing this person to do these things to you, then that could become that salt that's going to kill you.
I mean, they can't have that kind of impact on you, depending on who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be using words as truth against you. You're so emotional that you don't want to receive the truth to help yourself, to better yourself. Or maybe they're just using it to hurt you, and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's the truth, that a secret you told, and you wanted them to keep that inside. Some of you may have just been opening up and revealing something, just getting things off your chest, and here it is, they throw it back up in your face. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those words can hurt. I look at what Sedaria was saying about the tattoo, and pretty much what I was saying about the boxes. Some people will go through pain to get the reward. They say
Hold on,
there's
Rico.
no reward.
Hold on, Rico. Hold on for a second. We got somebody with some background noise. Mutual lines, we don't have the background noise. We got a little feedback coming from somebody's line, a little bumping or something like that. Everybody mute your line for me, so we don't have that. Good deal. Good deal. Go ahead, Rico. Sorry about that, brother.
Yeah, I always grew up hearing this saying that there's no reward without pain.
Mm-hmm.
So some people feel like they have to go through pain to get to the reward. A lot of pain, like say for instance, practice. Some football practice, man, football practice is much more tougher than the game.
Mm-hmm.
Than the game. So many.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only do you have to do it repetitively, but sometimes you're taking a lot more licks in
Yep.
practice for 4 days
Yep.
than you will in a full game. And so, you go through all that soreness, all that running, all those sprints and belly flops and man, just duck crawl. There's so many different things that you have to go through that you wore out at the end of the day. You might need
Mm-hmm.
to pick up some salt. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end, the reward is that football game. The
Yep.
reward is that win. That reward is that scholarship to get to college if you happen to get that scholarship. So I mean, sometimes we are trained to withstand pain. The problem is when people use other coping mechanisms to cope with pain, like drugs,
Mm-hmm.
um, sex. Some people get over bad things that happened to them in the past, or they make themselves feel better by doing things like that. I mean, so it's so many different ways, like I said, that we participate in things that are self-destructive to us, but we don't realize they're self-destructive because they're coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm. And when he talk about coping, I'm glad he went there, toward you. Some people are cutters. Some people are cutters and abuse themselves for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but that's what some people do. What do you say to that?
That's probably what it is. We all abuse ourselves just because we're not using a knife. I mean, we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It can not have to be with a knife or a razor cutting ourselves. Like I said, it can be with sex or alcohol or smoking or anything that's damaging for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think oftentimes there are these um, hidden cuts that we give into, maybe like porn or gambling. That may not have a physical toll, but have more of a mental uh, habit creating type atmosphere that it's just hard shaped, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to an extent that we choose our abuse, right? Whether it be food, whether it be television, or whether it be just to check out,
Mm-hmm.
right? There were times when I just check out. I don't want to deal with it. That's what I do now. Nope, I ain't gonna deal with it. I'm gonna give it to the Lord, honey, because anything I do is gonna mess it up. Let me just go ahead and give it to Him, and I'm gonna pray on that He helps
Mm-hmm.
you. So different people get. I think we choose again what our abuse is. I don't want to be a stripper, but I'll be loose. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think that if we best be honest, and I can say through my own eyes, we allow the kind of abuse, I guess, that we feel like we've already endured. You know what I'm saying? I guess like whatever pain you've ultimately experienced, then that'll probably be the level of abuse you allow to creep in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you're probably identify with the most. And if it's alcohol, probably that's the pain that you saw with your parent drinking. And that'll probably be what you cling to. And if you don't cling to it, it's away from it. You know what I'm saying? But again, gonna choose something, I think, to kind of help yourself feel balanced.
Wow, that's good. Badger, talk to me, brother.
We still on the snake thing?
Yes.
It it's just interesting. I'm listening to a lot of the different perceptions and stuff, and and that's the beautiful thing about being a human being. You know, is we all have our personal experiences and our individuality. How I view it is not going to be 100% identical to someone else.
Absolutely.
So, the way I read it and the way I looked at it, it looked like there was an interruption in the path, and the snake chose to focus on that and not continue the path. So, others are going to look at it in different ways. To me, more of what I'm listening at and looking towards is the open-mindedness of being respectful to one another, even though we have different points of view. Because that's something else that a lot of people have a tendency to hold on to just because they look different, act different, think different, believe different. They hold on to something and judge others based on that. And it's usually some kind of stigma or something of that kind that, which to me, in a way, it's the same principle as us all. When you're holding on to stigmas and certain history and different things like that, it's going to interrupt the path. The person that you're talking to might actually be someone that was sent to you that could help you out with the situation you're in, but you're turning them away because they don't believe or speak the way you would want them to.
That's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Like like I mentioned before, you have to think of it from what's a good word? It's cosmic, okay? A mystical sort of way how that works. You have to take into consideration the saw and the snake and the story and how everyone's perception of each thing in that whole story. At the end, that's going to be their point of view. So I look at it that way. One, to me, I'll first say, "Oh, stupid snake." But here I am talking to some of you who identify with the snake. Badger thought it was funny to him. I identify completely with the saw. And then some people have it be positive or negative. And so I appreciate everybody's point of view. But I think at the end of the day, don't nobody want to feel bad.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think some of the part of and not necessarily us here in this conversation right here, but do you think if a person were to hear that story, it's based on their experiences and the hurt that they've experienced themselves or lack of hurt, what element they would identify with the most?
It has to be. In my weirdest frame of mind, I bet you mathematically it would have to be.
Wow.
It would
Okay.
have to be. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that are just universal. The universal thing is, who here loves to be hurt?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That should be enough.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Rico, if there's four people that grew up in the same household, brothers and sisters, two boys, two girls, what is the likelihood of all of them agreeing on one element? Or is it more likely based on their experience, even though they grew up with the same household, two parent father, mother and father in the household, they have some of the same experiences, but they view them differently. Like I said, we could go to the top of the mountain and we could look out. We'll see the same thing, but we may view them differently. So, what is the likelihood of all of them having the same experience, or looking at this saw and snake situation the same?
That depends on how much control within their environment. If they had
Mm-hmm.
the freedom to think and express themselves, then they probably won't grow up exactly the same way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if they have such a high example in their household of what a hero should be or whatever, then they may all go in that direction somehow, or at least use that as motivation to do what they want to do. But then
Mm-hmm.
in a household or organization where everybody is being controlled,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has to conform and go this route. They have to think this way. It's my way or the highway. No way is acceptable. So I mean, that really depends on the household. Some households there is a domineering environment where the
Mm-hmm.
father not only control the children, but he controls the mother too. The mother is almost treated like his daughter.
Mm.
Man of the house. Some people take that phrase "man of the house" and it goes so many different ways. Just like with the snake and the saw. When you hear man of the house, it depends on the person that's receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
Men feel like that just means that, okay, I'm the one that's going to be the ultimate decision maker. I'm the one that's dependent on the provider, protect, and lead the way. And some it means do what I say and what I say go. Every
Mm-hmm.
I pay the bills. So it depends on the interpretation, and like I said, it depends on the environment. Every environment is unique. No environment is the same, so it's hard to say what can happen in that household. But
Mm-hmm.
going back to talking about that snake and that saw, I couldn't relate that to anything I went through until after I had to sit back and think about it. But when I first saw that story yesterday myself, I saw it for what it was. It was an aggressive snake that only knew how to get more aggressive when it was hurt instead of backing up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we feel some pain, we're gonna back up a little bit. But then I had to think about it. There have been times that I had interactions with other males that when you give them a good 3 or 4 piece,
Mm-hmm.
wake up and I like
Yeah.
that. Uh-oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need a bat. This joker like to fight. He wanted some of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you the other day, I had a homeboy that whooped a boy 8 times in one day when he got out
Yeah.
of prison. And this boy had made money. And he waited for a couple of weeks for him to come back and not only give him the car that he left him, but give him everything that he made after he went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So that man whooped that boy 8 times that day, and he didn't stop until that boy fought him back that last time.
Mm.
He just wanted that boy to fight him back. But I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, what if he would have killed you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that aggressive nature in that snake, man, that being consumed with rage, like I said earlier, sometimes you can be so consumed with rage that you just like to walk around and fight. I got another friend right now that'll tell you when he was young, he used to just walk up to people, everybody else say, "Hey, come on, let's play." He just walk up and say, "Hey, want to fight?" He was brought up that way though. He had he said he had older brothers, 3 older brothers that turned him into a fighting machine. So they got
Mm-hmm.
out of it. In my neighborhood, that happened a lot. I got one of my friends killed his own twin, but I saw at a
Mm.
younger age the dysfunction that was put in him, and I saw the animosity. A lot of people didn't see it, but I saw, even though he loved being a twin, he still wanted his individuality. He wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be recognized as the tougher twin, the faster twin, the more talented twin. He got tired of being the twin, even though he embraced it. They swapped out on women and everything. They played all of the twin tricks. But
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in mind, he was taught to compete with his twin. And when I knew it was gonna happen because when we were young at 6 years old, the older brothers used to get entertainment out of watching them fight each other. And both of them could fight. They wasn't nothing, but they was turning. But one of them was a little bit carried away because he just did not like losing, period. It didn't matter that I'm hurting. It didn't matter that he was losing. It didn't matter that that's my twin. Only thing that mattered was I'm gonna win at any means necessary, and that was that snake.
And that was the snake. Absolutely, absolutely. Tore you with a T. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. How often do we fly right into that fire, and we're killed, and we're dead?
Oh, I thought you was gonna say that's the way love goes. You was gonna sing Janet Jackson.
Oh, excuse me.
It's like an instinct, right? It's like something like a drawing. Again, if other living creatures could rationalize, I'm quite sure they wouldn't go to it if they know it was fire. But neither would they go near the bug zapper. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's an attraction that, just because, again, I said it earlier, you don't have to know what's gonna happen being attracted to that flame. You know what I'm saying? You're a moth. That's what we do. We be attracted to light. Okay, well, you get attracted to that light, it's a fire, and then you get burnt and it is up out of here, man. I mean, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it goes. It's unfortunate, but a lot of us go through that in life. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like just with being a human and not wanting to recognize God. You know what I'm saying? I think that, having that covering, he's the only way that the moth can make it through the fire, because originally you got to keep in mind that fire is supposed to burn it. So if you get through the fire and you come out on the other side, that's the God. If a bush on fire and it's burning, but it ain't burnt, again, that's only the ultimate creator can make those things happen. You know what I'm saying? So it can be instinct, right? It can be, that's what we do. We're human, or that's what we do. We're snakes. That's what we do. We're moths. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, again, there are circumstances that go down with it, and the only covering that can save you through the fire, through the grabbing onto the saw after you've been wounded and healing, is the ultimate creator, man. Regardless of what, and it makes me think about what somebody said earlier. That's a part of it can make you stronger. It's used for something that might be true, but it still can have an effect, and you have to be tapped in order to make it through whatever issues that can ultimately destroy you.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. This is good. Tucson, talk to me. Like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. How often do we just fly right into that fire?
Oh man, I know if I'd be honest with somebody, I probably did a couple of times, a few times, over and over again. Just saying. It looks good. It's amazing how the things that are destructive look good. Might not be good for you, but it ain't good. It's not going to be good for you. At one time, I'm just throwing it way out there. Jack Daniel used to be pretty good.
Look here. Oh, you talking about that big butt baby hair on a smile?
I guess so. Yeah. Lord have mercy, boy, you had to be messed up for a minute.
Hey, I'm telling you, big butt baby hair on a smile to get you every time, brother.
Oh, gracious. I tell you what. No, I ain't going to tell you what.
Don't say it. Don't say it, don't.
Lord have mercy.
Rico, big butt baby hair on a smile. Get you every time like a moth to a flame, brother.
It'll get you, man, if you ain't careful. You gotta you gotta collect yourself and get your mind right.
Exactly. Sometimes, when somebody hits you and make you dizzy, you have to shake it off before you go back at them. You have
to. Hey, you know what I was thinking about, man? Muhammad Ali was a snake. He didn't know when to let go. He didn't know when to quit.
Yeah.
He didn't know when to let go. And Evander Holyfield, if anybody remembers them fights with the white Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
man, that man like to die in one of those fights.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally like to die. And that was not only one of the most spectacular fights I ever saw, but I was also scared.
Yeah.
I was
battles,
about the Holyfield, man, because I was like, man, is he gonna quit? And then he did it again with Riddick Bowe.
Yep.
Man, snot flying out his nose, man. The man flopping and pluming all around the ring, man, and he still wouldn't quit punching.
Yep.
Still wouldn't quit punching. So sometimes, man, you know, really and truly, that aggressive nature, that desire can be so bad that we understand that sometimes we just have to let it go. We have to give it up. But you know, in those cases where you want to be a champion, I guess, or you want to be the victor.
What's your driving force?
I'm trained to win at all costs. It's just hard to give up like that, you know. So I see why that man was dehydrated and going through all the stuff that he went through after that fight, man. Because Evander Holyfield, he probably is going to end up in the same. And I don't want to put that out there like that, man. But he
better be careful.
But Ali, I ain't never seen nobody take some of the punishment that he's taken and just kept fighting.
I looked at the old Ali Frazier fight last night when I was looking at that fight, man.
I saw that,
like,
man.
wow. I was like, wow, man, look at these dudes here going, man, look, man, it ain't nothing for both of their head to be boom. I was like, man, they taking a lot of headshots. Leonard, talk to me, man. Big butt, baby hair and a smile. Big butt,
man,
baby
I
hair.
don't told you about that country stuff. That big butt, baby hair and smile mess.
He like saying baby hair, I guess that means they got edges.
Well, you know what? One thing I can say, if you did not, man, I am so glad we didn't get to today's topic.
What? I'm about to go to it right now.
No. Why?
Hey, I just want to know how he come about that, man. Because I ain't gonna lie, when I seen that,
stop it, Rico. Why would he ask us that?
Wait a minute now. I couldn't get it either. I ain't understand now.
How does parenthood affect women?
Breaking around though.
Yeah.
I could have been off today.
See, but that's a heck of a question because honestly speaking, it affects them differently than it affects a man. It really does.
Well, Raheem, you should have invited some other guests besides Miss Sedari.
Well, Sedari, here, Toya here. You know, we got some women on here.
But you have to be a mother, right?
You have to be a mother, yeah. Well, no, not necessarily because, like I say, we're uncles to a lot of kids We're uncles to a lot of kids that are naturally that are not ours, but we understand the responsibility that goes into it, and we have actually had to thrust ourselves into certain roles in their lives. But see, women don't have that choice. A woman don't have that choice at all. She has, she's the mother.
Did you get in trouble this weekend, right?
No, sir. No. I would see where your mind would go that way, but no. but I'm serious because a lot of times, truth of the matter, I'm gonna ask Dario this question. We're gonna move on. But Dario, is the impact of being a mother, what's the verb? I'm gonna get the exact verbiage of how I said that. Let me pull it up here for a second. My computer's going slow. Y'all bear with me for a second here. Okay, so Dario, you there?
Yes.
Okay, and how does parenthood affect women? Does it affect women? Parenthood and men and women are naturally our parents, but does it affect a woman differently than it does a man? Parenthood. In responsibilities and the things that she have to take over and the role that she have to play.
That can be answered in several ways. Like I heard the guy saying, first of all, I'm not a man, but in raising children in a household where the man was not present, the mindset of the woman automatically feels like in some ways she has to take on the role of a man. Especially if she has sons. Now that's a fallacy because we can never take on the role of a man because we are not men. and we don't necessarily understand the function and nature of men, and especially if we didn't grow up with a man. So as far as that part of it goes, I can't answer other than what I've seen in my marriage of many years, the difference in how I and my mate handled the children. Yes, I believe that women come from the perspective of nurture and protect at all cost. You know, even sometimes at the cost of your relationship. So like in my case with my previous husband, and as we talk today, that was one of his issues, is that I would protect my kids at all cost. And I protected his kids at all costs. He had 2, I had 3. And so where he would want, you know, they would do things and he would say, well, I'm just going to put them out, you know. Then I always saw it from a perspective of, well, first, we haven't dug into the matter. We don't know why they did what they did. You know, I was always trying to unravel the situation and find out the heart of the child, see if it's something we did as parents that misled their perceptions. And you know, how could we correct that so as the child goes forward, they can have a different view on how to live their life. Now, all these things go through my mind. Whereas with my previous husband, he would be like, they grown. That was it. That was the end of the conversation. Like, they grown. I'm gonna kick them out. They can sink or swim, you know. And me having 3 children at 3 different generational times, meaning I had a child in the 70s, and then I had a child in the 80s, and then I had a child in the 90s, which makes a difference as well on how the child comes up because of peer pressure and how times change. And so being that I learned something from the first child that I passed on to the second. I learned something from the first and second child that I passed on to the third. So the third child ultimately got the best of me. The first child got the worst of me because of my ignorance to parenthood. So it's a whole lot of things that women be going through in their head that a man might consider unnecessary. It's not necessary for you to go through all of these mental chains in your head to come to one rational decision. But men have to understand that women don't think from rationality. Women think from emotional and nurturing, and then they apply it to their intellect. Men think just the opposite way. And sometimes they never get to applying it emotionally. They just apply it to logic and intellect, and I'm done with it. But the woman has that extra element of
nurturing, yeah,
that she applies to raising the kids. So yes, I think it's very, very different, and it may be more difficult for the mother.
Okay. And Rico, I saw you shaking your head in approval. What's on your heart, brother?
I agree. I mean, you know, there's so many different physical changes that a woman goes through that a man has to respect and acknowledge every time she carries a child. Like our bodies might change because we just got lazy, but a woman goes through changes because she has babies. I mean, and even if she bounces back after that baby, the changes she went through before that whole transformation, man. I mean, look, man, bone shifting, a lot of pain, and then you got a whole nother body coming out of you, man. Listen, when I saw my son being born, man, everything in me went like, I just shrunk, man. I was like, oh, I ain't gonna do nothing with that no more. Not only did I admire her, but I was just like, man, did he just come out of that one? No, man.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm through.
I'm wrapped. It's a wrap. But you know, it was still amazing to me. And so, you know, on the outside looking in, as a man, I assume, I'm not saying that this is the way it is, but in my opinion, I assume that a woman has a lot more invested bond-wise. The moment of feeling that baby first kicking. See, she can feel the baby moving around in her when we can't. It's going to take a while we can feel that foot or that little arm before we actually see the foot pushing out. But she's feeling it way before then. She's going through the change. She's going through the morning sickness.
And Rico, she tell us, put your hand right here. Put your hand right here. Hold on. Feel right here. You can feel it. You feel it? Put your hand right here. The baby's moving. She feel all that, man.
She feel it in her when it ain't moving.
Exactly.
She is
Exactly.
in her. So I mean, that morning sickness, so many different changes that to me, it is different for a woman in parenting. And then after the baby is born, she knows the sacrifice and the changes she went through. Her investment is a lot different than a man. Like I said, the man ain't got but one job to do and then just sit back and support her and rub her feet as she gets swole or whatever it is. But we'll never feel what she felt. Our bodies don't go through that change. So we, out of respect for that, I would assume that the woman's way of parenting and her nurturing is different. The bond is different. But at the same time, I would be a fool to try to think that I would understand just how deep that is.
Exactly. Exactly. And Toya, let me ask you this, and Donald Tucson, I'll come to you next. Toya, I've never seen, and I could be wrong. Maybe I just haven't seen it. But I've never seen a man go to work and they ask him like they would ask the woman, where the kids at? Where your kids at? Who taking care of your kids? Where your kids at? They don't ask a man that question. He go to work and he go to work and he work. But if a woman go to work and they know that she have kids, who got your kids? Who's taking care of your kids? That's a question that you all get that we don't get. Toya, what's on your heart?
I mean, so it is. You know what I'm saying? That's not the norm. We're used to mothers and the kids. Because of the process. I'm saying it's nowhere really in nature that the kids are really, with the dad. But I think that is just, by like category, I guess, because most of the time it's males that's in charge often. Most of the time people don't know your business. So it's like the stereotype part comes in. And that's just not the norm. So, they're not going to ask. But now, once you break the norm and you're known to have your kids, then that's when that question might come about, and I get it. Because as a woman, especially I just turned 44 Monday, right? They look for me to have kids, right? Where your kids at? It's like, oh, I ain't got none. It's like, it's not the norm. So, because they're so used to it, when they hear that, it's like, wow, then here we go. What's the problem? What's the issue? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it just is what it is. They group children with us. You know what I mean? And just they group y'all to be more or less the ones that are out, even if you do have them. Not normally the one that's rolling with the kids. You know what I mean? So I think that's just kind of like just the differences. It is what it is. Boys' bathroom, girls' bathroom. Baby go with the mamas, and babies go with the daddy maybe.
Exactly. And see, and that's the thing right there, Donald Tucson. You being in management and stuff like that, and a lot of time, and we're not gonna personalize it, but a lot of time in the workplace, they don't ask the dads. He come to work, he go to work. He go to work. They don't ask him, man, where your kids at? Because it's automatically assumed, like Toya said, that the kids are with the mother. Now, what happened when she's at work, when she got to go to work? They first, man, where your kids at? Ain't you got kids? What they got? That's a different responsibility. That's a different thing. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, a parent gonna make provisions. They're gonna know where their kid at, even if it's at the nursery or babysitter or somebody relative that's gonna be taking care of the children while they go to work. They're gonna make provisions.
But Donna, which parent is society gonna look more at in making those provisions?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the mother, because me myself, I've never seen my mom go to work, and I've never seen her go to work. And they tell me she had a job at one time, but that didn't work out too good, because you couldn't smack a little white child in the mouth, and she did that. So that didn't work out too good.
No, that didn't. Now, were y'all in Mississippi? Were y'all in Mississippi?
With Louisiana.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, but that back in the day. But I was thinking about how the mother's love will make provisions. I don't care if she worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs. She gonna make it happen, and she gonna know where them children at. And then she's gonna be a little extra careful because she's not gonna leave her. I'm talking about a mother. I'm not talking about a lady that got a child.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 different things.
Yes, yes.
Because some people, some men and women don't know where their children at.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't care either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got people that get into agreements to make babies, and so it's a mess. But I'm talking about a mother will make sure that whatever she has to do, the child is still taken care of. They'll stick with them. You let the child get on drugs or go to jail. You know who's gonna be waiting for them?
Mama.
You know who's gonna be visiting them?
Mama.
You know who gonna, if they need to put some money on their books, you know who gonna send it?
Mama.
Yeah. Dad gonna say, "I'll see you when you get out, son.
Mm-hmm.
See how it work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have done it in the first place."
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing.
Why you keep sending that money down there to that boy? Yeah, that's daddy there. Now that boy know what he did. No, he ain't had no business doing what he did. Stop sending that money down there.
I believe my dad when he told me, say, "Look, if y'all get in trouble for something foolish, don't call me.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something there's some merit to it, I'll come get you." But the fact that we was mischievous, not to the point that we were scared of the law. We were scared of mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
But I believed him, so I would go so far to make sure that I wouldn't get locked up. I wouldn't get in trouble. I would just have to be sneaky about it anyway.
Has that changed?
No.
Good deal, Leonard. I ain't fooling with you, Tuzan. I ain't fooling with you. Leonard, talk to me, brother, and stop laughing over there.
I'm just trying not to be immature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my inner ratchetness comes out when you ask certain questions.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thing was, why are you in people's business like that? Because I imagine if I'm at work, man, where your kids at?
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't even told you I had no kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now you asking where my kids at?
Look, what
I'm about to report you to HR, man. I think you the police, man. I have to report you to HR. You know good and well I had to leave my kids at home. I ain't got no sitter. What you trying to do? Mess me up with the people? What's going on? Why you in my business, Raheem? Why is you in my business, bro? We just work together. We just work together. I never told you I had kids, Raheem.
Exactly.
Why you asking me where my kids?
I saw him at the cookout.
That's immediately, you know how you say what's up? That's immediately what I thought. Anyway, but I just, I have, my younger son, he doesn't know me to have regular 9 to 5. And I had a good schedule even with my oldest son. So I've been, at home, and I'm very traditional. And what have you. So I'm always there. Even people at the school know I was always, all you gotta do is text his daddy. His daddy come right around the corner, see what's going on up here. Because I was very particular about my children. So I like to be close to them, and it's dangerous to come between me and my children. And so I'm very protective over them. And they're boys. And, as much as I wish they were a saw right now, they not. And so I've had, I'll tell anybody, all that other stuff I did in life, piece of cake compared to being a father.
Yes, sir.
Piece of cake. Because that being a father thing, I still ain't there. Like, I still wish I could be better. And, the older they get, time runs out. For those developmental years run out. When you watch them 1 minute, you holding them, next minute they 21.
Exactly.
In the blink of an eye, man.
Man, look here. I'm a granddad still trying to master the dad thing.
Right. And so, and honestly, God definitely has a purpose for my second son, because Lord knows I was on my way to after the first one, and I knew how big that was going to be. I didn't want any more.
Snip, snip.
But something, delayed me going for the surgery, canceled. My wife got sick, so years passed. And now there's about a 9-year gap between them.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the moment she told me she was pregnant the second time,
Snip, snip.
I was done.
Wait, say snip,
That's how
snip.
particular I am about children.
Exactly.
I know I cannot commit on this level.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a heck of a commitment. It really is.
Let me tell you, I look at women who do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Parents who do it alone, my hat's off. I was so terrified of that.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't have my first child till I was 29.
Wow.
That was my mother put the fear of God in me when she told me a girl could ruin your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the things that I really tried to avoid. I didn't want to make no babies. And then, when I was a man, I was fine then because, I had my stuff together, doing the best I could, my whole life changed. Those things that I had planned to do that I thought were going to be for me, guess what? Changed. That sports car I was test driving when she called me.
Take it back.
Right back. Got to go right back. So when I look at the commitment and when you see that 21-year-old adult looking at you and they don't understand the sacrifice. And you look at them like, he ain't even supposed to know it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the crazy thing. He's not even supposed to know it. Yep. So hopefully they will get enough of me, to really be able to go after what they want. I just want them to be happy. Whatever it is they want to do, as long as they're happy and they can pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm good. But I think that we were talking about the roles that the mother, the nurturer, and how she says a mothers with the emotion and on that. I'm a survival skills type of person. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't make you love nothing, but I can show you how to stay alive till you get it.
Exactly.
And how to get it. But if you want it, you know what I'm saying? I don't. So I'm just trying to be the facilitator of my children's best decisions. That's my role as their father.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Still talking about the snake or the women thing?
The women thing.
That's kind of the same thing, ain't it, Badger?
No.
Let me mute. Hold on, let me mute.
You need to mute.
Y'all heard that? You heard that, right?
Heard that. Yeah, we heard that.
Oh my God.
Badger?
I'm listening and I'm just, this is a dangerous topic. I almost didn't come on this morning because of it.
But we always have a pre-topic, so we always have something to talk about. But go ahead.
Ooh, I'm matriarch, so to me, normally women are a better parent than most men. I don't see how they would have issues unless they went through bad things or were led down a different path. So, I'm good.
Yeah, look here. Let me stop right there because we about to go down a slippery slope. But truth of the matter, I say the same thing. I say that in joking, but I think mothers, and I say it all the time. Nothing against father. I'm a man. I'm a father myself. But I think that mother's love is the closest thing to God that you will ever come across. Because like Leonard said, mama gonna be there, and Rico said all the time, mama's baby's daddy's maybe, and so the mother there's no doubt that's mother's baby. Mother carried that baby for 9 months. Coming to you, Rico. Mother carried that baby for 9 months, and there was a bond that was created in the course of that we, honestly speaking, we would never understand fully. You can explain it to us any way you want to, but we'll never fully understand that experience of having that connection with that child. Go ahead, Rico.
You know, that expectation is what it should be. And we don't, like you said, we can't understand why that bond is there. But now we got another dilemma of trying to figure out why the bond isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a video, a YouTube about a month ago about the that was wanting to sell her baby, and she didn't care if
Yes.
a child or molester. She didn't care if they was gonna get a baby to some people that was gonna kill it and film it. She didn't care what was gonna happen, who was gonna buy that baby. She just wanted the money.
Yep.
So there's something has happened
Some
in,
sinister, bro.
in this world here lately that has taken that natural instinct for a mother to love what it produces and put a financial come up on it. So video that I sent you, man, it's sad too because I think about it all the time.
It's
That man,
disheartening, bro.
he interrupted to try to save that baby. He wanted to buy the baby because he felt like at least he knew what would happen to it. And so none of that, I just thought about it. He said, why are you in people's business? Well, Porter that tried to buy that baby, he was in somebody's business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing that for that baby. See, some people get in people's business because they have concern for the vulnerable. You know, when you see that hot woman, that hot big button that baby have up in the club, she got 7 kids. So I'm wondering who watching them 7 kids. You looking so good, you up in here about to get you another one.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So somebody worried about them children that some of the men up in that club, they know it look good. You know what, man?
Don't mess with that one.
Now, see, me, myself, personally, I'm that person. I'm the one that'll sit back and be like, man, what's she doing up in here? Now, I ain't saying that you don't deserve to have a good time. You know, and that would be enjoyable to see somebody that has 7 children come out every now and then. She finally got a break. She got somebody but when you see that woman with them 7 children out every weekend, Sunday night, you know, something ain't right. But, you know, society would tell you, mind the business that pays you. And then society will come right back and cry and say, well, how did them babies burn themselves up? See, when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, I saw 3 different situations. After Casey Anthony, I saw 3 different situations of women that got their children drunk so they could go to the club. 2 women. One child set the house on fire, set the apartment on fire, going to the club. Mama and daddy went to jail this night. Not just a woman and her friend. This was mama and daddy wanted to go out and left their 3 children at home under the age of 4. So I mean, you know, you would think that expectation would still be the same and that it would be natural and automatic in a woman. And that's what I don't want to say it's chauvinistic for men to think that, because you would think that would be somewhat honorable for a woman to be more nurturing. But now, you know, we have these labels. We have to worry about being called chauvinist. We have to worry about being called judgmental, and then trying to say we are trying to tell women what they should do with their bodies. How to be women, when really and truly we really just looking out for the best interest of the children.
Exactly. Toy, you want to see what's on your heart, sis, before we get out of here?
Amen. Just sitting up here listening again. This dialogue is wonderful. As I'm listening to the guys speak, it just now it just clicked up. I pay attention to the perspective, and I know that's nobody but the Lord. Pay attention to the differences and where we're coming from, and use it as a tool moving forward to be understanding that.
Good deal. Leonard, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, you can log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3 o'clock Eastern today.
Good deal. So, Dario, will you pray us out?
Yes, I will. Father God, thank you for this wonderful show. Thank you for all of the panelists and the beautiful wisdom that you've put in their minds and hearts to share with other people. I pray for the continued success of this program, and that others are able to come in and learn and grow and have things instilled in them that make them better people, not first for others, but first for themselves, and to honor you. I pray everyone's safety. I pray that if it be your will, we all have wonderfully blessed days. And let us remember you as we go out and about and just look at the glorious nature that you've given us to enjoy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Excuse me. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKR Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:03. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light in you from the morning glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. Do me a favor, if you get an opportunity to give somebody some love, you just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Love you, and take care of one another. Have a great day.